So as the festive season winds down and people go back to living their lives in the new year, anxiety and starting all over again creeps in. Parents have now turned their focus onto preparing their little ones for back to school. The budget is stretched during this time of the year and children have to switch back to school mode. All these factors contribute to pressure, stress and anxiety. Human potential and parenting expert Nikki Bush joins us now to share tips on how to be on top of things as people go back to reality. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, Nikki. Firstly, I'd like to say that I'd imagine that as much as we all feel the pressure, some more than others, not everybody's reality is the same.
Absolutely. So, of course, the beginning of any new year, Tsepiso, is that there is change. And change is always unsettling. It's a new year, perhaps a new school, it's a new class, a new teacher, new friends, new rules. And with all of that, we need to bring routine back. And of course, children have been out of routine for the past 4 or 5 weeks of the school holidays. So the first piece of parenting advice this evening is to bring routine back. And I know schools do not start for another 7 to 10 days, but you do need to bring that bedtime back into play. So you determine bedtime, even if you let your children sleep in a bit, let's bring bedtime back first. And in another few days, bring wake up time back. So children really do operate best with routine because routine brings predictability, safety, and security, lowering the anxiety levels. The second thing is that over the next few days, you need to get your children ready for school practically. That means looking at what the school has asked you to provide in terms of stationery. So stationery is important. You know, you've got a teacher who's got 30 to 40 children in the class, and they cannot cope with 5 or 10 children not having their books, their pens, their pencils. As parents, we need to support teachers because our child is just one of a large group of children. So please have compassion and empathy for schools and teachers. They're having to bed down a lot of children. So try and supply as much as you can of what the school has asked for. When you go shopping, in the stationery stores at this time of the year, there are a lot of extra staff because they know there's an influx of parents and children coming to get their checklist sorted. For parents who are going shopping, print out that checklist, take a pen and a highlighter with you, and ask for help in the store because sometimes stationery has strange names like a 2-choir book or Irish lines, etc. You may not know what those are, but the assistants in the store will. So get one of the assistants to shop with you, you tick off the list, make sure you've got everything because there's nothing worse for your child or for the teacher, for your child to be asked to take out their hardcover 96-page history book and they don't have it. And of course, Tsepiso, all the stationery costs money, textbooks cost money, so we really do want our children's books to last for the whole year. And you're going to have to cover all of those books. So 2 things I'd like to recommend. The first is that you purchase PVC plastic roll, which is thicker and shinier than the very cheap plastic that you buy for book covering. It's a little more expensive, but well worth it because your children's books are going to look brand new by the end of the year. And get yourself one of those big sellotape, sticky tape dispensers that can sit on the kitchen table while you are busy packing, wrapping, covering all of those books. It's going to make your life so much easier.
So one of the things you've spoken about is also future-proofing your children. And as I was listening to you talk, just literally a couple of hours ago, I was speaking to a friend who was preparing for her child. And she just mentioned the deluge of groups text messages. And yes, some parents may start planning as far back as October, but for somebody who's trying to themselves also maybe, let's say, trying to figure out what their future looks like in this year, a lot of uncertainty, how do you future-proof your child while also ensuring that you also future-proof yourself?
So I believe that parenting is a personal development adventure, probably the most incredible personal development adventure you will ever have. It is not just a checklist, a to-do list. So while you're raising your children, you are also raising yourself. And children give you the opportunity to discover parts of who you are that you would never have discovered had you not become a parent. And this is part of celebrating the journey of parenting. So reframing parenting from a to-do list to a personal development adventure will help enormously. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that as parents, we create the weather. We create the emotional temperature in our homes. And right now, and for me, Sunday night every year or every week of your parenting life is mission control. This is where planning and preparation takes place, where you need to look at the expectations for your children and the expectations for you in terms of the person you are and you in your professional capacity in your job. And you need to make lists for the week, and you need to take all of that into consideration. So a diary, very important. Make sure that you are on the right groups. Make sure that you read the school newsletter. I cannot tell you how many parents don't bother to read the school newsletter. And then there's this influx of questions on these WhatsApp groups because they haven't read the newsletter, or they haven't read the note that's come from the teacher saying your child needs to bring the following to school. And so we need to take responsibility as parents to get with the program. And I've written an ebook which our viewers can get hold of very easily on nikkibush.com. And this ebook is called Back to School Sanity Savers Guide. And literally, parents, you are 12 chapters away from being a better, more sane parent. And it contains my 12 most popular, most useful lessons for getting with the program, for getting behind your children, getting behind the school, and actually being more sane and having more joy in your life as a parent.
All right, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you so much for taking your time to speak to us. Nikki. Nikki Bush is an author. Just speaking to you, parents out there, and of course any of you who are perhaps future parents, just how to deal with the new year, going back to school, and how to be organized, getting your children back to routine so that you can, as she says, ultimately let go and let grow so that you can build resilient children.